I don't see it on your Facebook page. Is it on your...
No, it should be on my Facebook page. It took a few minutes when I practiced earlier with Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
So,
let's see.
Oh, it's saying videos live, so.
That's what it says, videos live. Where are you, video? There we go. There we go. Find it? Yep. Let's see if I can share it out to my group.
Okay.
Share in the group. We're figuring this stuff out as we go along.
So, hello everybody. We're just we're running into a few technical glitches, but we're getting there. Share into.
I think I've got mine shared in my group already.
Yeah, it just said that you just posted, so.
Good.
Okay, so I just sent it to the Holistic Wellness Lounge, and we'll see where it goes.
Awesome.
Okay. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So today is Monday Whispers Chat. And so Bridging the Gap Wellness is all about creating holistic life and finding balance. And each week during Monday's Whispers Chat, starting today, we will be featuring an amazing and inspiring woman. So my name is Roly Allaire, and my spirit name is Gigudo Migwin, which means talking feather woman. And I'm a holistic wellness coach, spirit flame keeper, and a soul healer. I work with women who've experienced childhood trauma, sexual trauma, domestic violence, and grief to retrieve lost parts of their soul and achieve wellness, joy, and success. I draw extensively on my career background in psychotherapy and using my clinical skills, and in combination with chakra work, crystal Reiki, grandmother moon teachings, and by looking at the 4 dimensions of the medicine wheel. And so on July 18th, I'm going to be hosting a virtual workshop, which is called Heal Past Trauma with the Medicine Wheel, on Wednesday, July 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern. And so I am really looking forward to that. So now with me today, I want to introduce the lovely and amazing Madame Zee Tarot, Suzie Zurn. So Suzie is a female empowerment leader who has been involved in Wiccan and Pagan communities for over 15 years, teaching women how to live more witchy and enchanted lifestyle. She excels at introducing new and old practitioners like tarot cards, crystals, witchy woo, and other earth-based metaphysical practices in their lives. She's a certified master tarot reader and transforms people's lives through the power of using tarot and divination. So welcome, Suzie. Welcome to our very first interview. So I am super excited that you get to be here. So tell me a little bit more about who you are.
Well, I am Suzie Zurn, aka Madam Z, and I am what they call a life coach, but I use the modality of tarot. So I'm more of like a psychic counselor than anything. So I have been in the pagan witchy practice for about 15, 20 years, and I'm a 2nd degree high priestess. And I also empower women to come out of and live their most enchanted and powerful life. So I'm a magical life coach also. So.
Lovely. Yes. So I want to acknowledge that Flora is on. So welcome, Flora. Yeah. And so I'm going to keep glancing over periodically so that I can see comments if anybody is commenting. I won't be able to see in the group because I can't watch the group and the page. So if you are in my group, I'm not sure if Suzie can see comments from her group. But if you are in one of the 2 groups, then Suzie and I will come back and definitely post comments back if that is something that's going on, but definitely here on the page. So if you have any comments, if you have any questions, please feel free to go ahead and post them, and we will keep watching. And so love to see that you're here, Flora. So
yes, if we don't get to the comments or we miss them now, then we will definitely address you guys afterwards. So
yes,
don't feel left out. We will address you.
perfect.
Ooh,
So,
Robin.
so I'm not sure who else is on. I can see, like I said, I can see Flora is on. So if you are on live, then please just on the Facebook page, then just give us a hi or a thumbs up or something so that we know that you're actually on live. Because we're going through, we're not just directly on, we're actually on through Zoom. So this is a learning curve, and
Yes.
Susie gets to be my very first.
Doing well, doing well. I know Robin is on. She's in my group. So she's like,
Mary Ellen Cole is on, so she just waved. So thank you very much, Mary Ellen.
hello, sisters.
So now you talked a little bit about how long that you've been practicing. So what got you started?
A little bit of background about me, as I was raised in the Catholic Church, and I actually I would say I was lucky that I was introduced to a lot of different religions, but I was raised Catholic. I went to Catholic school, and when I was in Catholic school, it never really resonated with me. You know, it was all, and I don't mean to bash any religion or anything, it just wasn't for me. It was almost like they lived their life in fear of being a sinful, because, you know, you're born of sin, and you spend your whole life trying to atone for your, sin that you had nothing to do with because you're born from sin. So it never really resonated with me. So I tried different religions, different things, and I was sitting in church one day, and the preacher or the priest was talking about living a sinful life and how to atone and Hail Marys, and I was sitting there and I was looking out the window and I was like, this is not calling to me. This is not where I need to be. I want to be out in nature under a tree, listening to the voices of the trees, the breeze of the wind whispering, what I should do, listening to Mom Gaia. I want to know who the strong women are in the religious aspects, in the history of women, because I felt that the religion suppressed so many powerful women, and they don't speak about the power of women. And I felt that I really needed to be my own God, my own goddess. I wanted to be in charge of me. I didn't want to live a sinful life, because I never lived a sinful life. I mean, I didn't want that burden on me anymore, because that's not who I was. It never resonated with me. So that is when I started seeking earth-based religion. So I started off Wiccan, and that gave me the basis, kind of like a jumping off point, the foundation of who I was and what the earth-based religion was like. And as soon as I embraced it, I was totally free of everything, all the confinement, all of the oppression that was, for me, represented the church to me. So I learned so many different paths when it came to earth-based religion that now I consider myself more of an eclectic witch than Wiccan. So there's a difference, because Wiccan is really, you have very set rules and set ways of doing things. Whereas if you're eclectic, you bring in little parts of different religions that resonate to you.
Okay.
So I'm more of an eclectic now, so I just kind of do my own thing. Pull from different religions and different earth-based religions that I really resonate with me. So yes, it was very freeing.
So basically you do a lot of things that just really just reflect on you. What resonates for you is how you practice.
Yes.
Okay. That's very, very wonderful.
I walk with the goddess every day. So goddess is very important to me. Goddess worshiping. Earth worshiping is good for me also. If I don't spend a lot of time in, outside, I get a little stir crazy. My boyfriend's like, you need to go outside. I was like, yeah, I think I need to go outside. If I'm not honoring Mom Gaia or the goddess or rituals on a daily basis, I can tell my spirit is not in balance. So.
Okay. So what's your favorite kind of magic?
My favorite kind of magic, I have so many. I love tarot. Any kind of divination is my favorite. But I love spell work. Anything that has to do with candle magic, doing spells, doing, moon water, anything that has to do with changing the energy and manipulating the energy, I love rituals. Something about being in ritual and ritual space or headspace is just so calming to me and so connected to, the goddess and earth and my spiritual practice. But I really love teaching newbie witches to come out of the witchy broom closet and empower them and give them the tools to be the most authentic witch that they can be and live a most magical life. I just love the energy of newbie witches. I miss that energy. I miss being a newbie witch, and everything is just like they're a sponge and everything is like a light bulb moment for them. And sometimes I miss that. I miss being that newbie witch. So that's how I get, it's kind of a selfish thing because that's how I get my high, is like teaching newbie witches to come out of the broom closet and just be, oh, I can do this myself. I'm so powerful.
Awesome. And one of the things that I can actually attest to, so for those of you who are in holistic, in my holistic wellness lounge, knows that I've actually been practicing, and this is who I've been practicing with, or who that I've been learning from, being able to use pull tarot cards and using my intuitive self that is coming from my teachings from Suzie. So I can attest to how wonderful that that Suzie does an amazing job at being able to teach. And although I'm still very, very new and very, very skeptic's not the right word, because I'm not skeptic, I really believe, but it's very not really sure myself. And so for those of you who allow me to practice on you in my group, I'm so thankful. And so I can definitely attest to Suzie's energy of wanting to teach and being able to learn. So that's fantastic. So we do have a few comments. So I'm actually going to scroll down. So Flora says alchemy, and Rachel says Suzie's an amazing candle wax reader. And so I've never had a candle wax reading, so I'll have to do that with you sometime. Yeah. So having many light bulb moments is one of the things that that Shauna has saying. So yes. So that's amazing. So yes. So it is it's fabulous. I'm so happy to see that we've got some people that are on live. I know that where Suzie is, it's around dinner time for her, whereas it's it's getting kids ready for bedtime for us here for anybody who are moms of young children. So it's around 7:30 here. So so I'm glad to see that we've got some people from different parts of the world.
I know, it's exciting.
It is exciting. So so how hard is it to learn magic?
Well, that's an interesting question, because learning magic isn't that hard if you have the right teacher. If you have a strong foundation, it's like building a spiritual foundation house. If you don't have a great foundation, you're not going to be able to rely on your spiritual knowledge or your spiritual practice when you need it. It's going to fail you. So once you learn the basics, and once you've been practicing daily for a while, you can really do some powerful magic by yourself. But if you don't have a good teacher, if you don't have a teacher that is humble, a teacher that is giving, then a teacher that is knowledgeable and willing to share what they know and pass their secrets on to you, then it's hard to learn on yourself, because you can be an eclectic witch or an eclectic pagan. I mean, eclectic as solo, and you can learn it yourself. But solitary witch, solitary pagan. But you don't get the interaction and the knowledge of so many different people that you do in a group. So it is very important that you find a circle, a coven, a a group of sisterhood that are like-minded, where you can learn each other. And because I have been doing this for many years, and it is an ongoing practice, lifelong learning. You never ever learn all of it. There's never a stopping point. But once you start down this, what I call a rabbit hole of magic, it is a wonderful journey. It's a journey of self-discovery. It's a journey of being powerful. It's a journey of knowing who you are. It's a journey of tapping into your knowledge and really being responsible for yourself and your surroundings and your life, which was huge for me. But learning magic, and I always say this, and I always tell my group, I'm going to make a mug, I'm going to make a t-shirt, and I'm going to embroider a pillow that says, "Witching ain't easy," because it's not. You can have the foundations, but it is daily practice. Your soul is in it. You're feeding it. You're doing it. It is work, but it's spiritual work, and it is rewarding work. But the good thing about that is that sometimes you kind of slack off, and I call it, you go through your bad witch phase, because you're like, I didn't do any of the Sabbaths this year. I didn't do any moon water this year. I feel really bad. But you learn with your path the cycles of the earth, the cycles of who you are. And sometimes it's springtime for you, which means you're budding, you're growing, you're working on your practice. And sometimes in your practice, you're in the winter time, where you just kind of want to just be by yourself, not do a lot of magic. You want to be withdrawn, doing a lot of inner work. So once you know the cycles of the earth, it's called the witch's wheel, or the wheel of the year, you are more in tune with your practice, and you're more in tune with the cycles of being a witch. So you're not feeling as bad as if you're not being so witchy.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So something like, because I follow the cycles of the moon. So cycles of the moon would be, so like the cycles of witchy would be like the same kind of thing, right? So like you're actually following your own cycles and connecting with yourself. And so one of the things that I love about being able to learn from you is being able to know that there's no right and there's no wrong. It's about what it is that resonates for me. And I like that, because I don't know necessarily that I'm a witch at this point, right? Yeah. Or if I'm ever going to be, but I practice a lot of Aboriginal traditions, and I know that for me, a lot of the things that that you share and that you teach resonates a lot with the things that I believe and how I'm able to connect. And I too was raised Catholic, so I baptized my boys Catholic, and so like I have no issues with the Catholic Church specifically, just that there were some things, like Suzie said, that doesn't resonate for me. And so it was so that's when I started exploring and learning a little bit more about like the chakras, and really being able to connect with me, within me. And so I had someone probably about a year ago now say, "Oh, wow, you're doing a lot of spiritual stuff." And to me, spiritual, because growing up, spiritual meant church. And I'm like, No, I'm not doing a lot of churchy stuff. And so, but it's not. It's being able to connect and tap into that spirituality and that peace that belongs to you and what resonates for you. So, so really thankful that I have actually met Suzie, and I'm thankful that you're to be able to share this knowledge with us.
Thank you. I'm thankful to meet you and have met you, and to share sacred space with you, because we spent a lot of time together.
We have.
And the good thing about a sisterhood, or a sisterhood of witches, or a sisterhood of pagans, is that we have the same wound that we need to release and get over, and really just let out, and cry out. And that is a good thing to do when you have a support system around you. We call it the sister wound or the witch wound, or you can call it the church wound, or whatever resonates to you. But there's a lot of stigma attached to your past, and that you have to release in order to live your most empowered life. So with a group of people who have been through that, we actually know what it's like. We hold space for you so people can just cry and be frustrated. And we spend a lot of time together crying and being frustrated.
We have.
So, and it's, you know, if it wasn't for, you know, my witchy pagan sisters in sacred space, then it would have been tough to get through, because that's the bad thing about being solitary, is you don't have that circle. You don't have that support system. So that's why we call it a sacred circle. That's why it's a circle. It means energy is free flowing. The energy goes around really free. There's no stopping point. So that is why circles and sphere kind of shapes are very sacred to women.
Okay.
So yes.
That really makes sense. So I just wanted to go back to comments. So Jay Mecca is on, so welcome Jay Mecca, and Miriam has joined us as well. And my husband is making some noises in the kitchen, so hopefully that's not too loud. And and as he's going, oops.
That's his code for shut up. It's his nice code. That's a nice way.
My son's hiding upstairs, so he doesn't dare come downstairs when I tell him I'm going on live. So. Mm-hmm. And Rachel actually shared that. So very true. We have seasons of our crafts, and so so Rachel also shares space with us as well, and she's also one of our sisters. So really glad to see that she's on as well.
Yes, very much so. That's why it's so important to have a support system of women, but also support women of different faiths. Because collectively, we bring so many experiences together. I mean, you teach differently, and I've learned so much from you. I teach differently. Rachel teaches differently. And as a collective group of healers, we can do amazing things together. We can heal some deep wounds of being a female that we don't even know that we had until we're like, oh crap, that's past life stuff. I worked so hard to suppress that crap.
Where did that come from?
I know, when's that coming up? You know, so when you start in a sacred space with sisters, a lot of stuff will come up. A lot of stuff will come up.
And that's one of the things that I've noticed in the last, more specifically in the last 4 months that we've been in Goddess Dream School with Flora, is that a lot of things that I thought I worked on that. Yeah. Some of those things have come back up. And so through that is where I was able to pull up being able to bring in the Mother Soul Medicine, is because of those things that I've seen, that it's like, oh, okay, I thought I worked on that trauma. So if these things are coming back up for me, then these things are coming back up for my clients. And so these are areas that we really need to be taking a look at and figuring out. So yeah, like that really, really makes sense. And that really very much resonates. So Lisa says, shadow work is so much easier when you have friends that understand what you're talking about. And absolutely, like that is so much us being able to have somebody that can understand, that resonates with what it is that we're going through and understand. We may not necessarily know exactly what the person is going through, but being able to understand that there is that shadow side is huge. What do you say, Suzie?
I have a couple of, statements on that, because you're doing your past life trauma that's coming up next week, I believe you said, right?
In 2 weeks, so on the 18th.
So and I'm going to join that. I'm going to get that because I need some help with that. So can you imagine going through your shadow work, your deep inner childhood wound shadow work by yourself?
Yeah.
It's like heart-wrenching deep wound. And I could never, ever imagine digging that up by myself and trying to deal with that, trying to deal with, past relationships. And because a lot of times you're like, oh, I just want to impress it. I don't want to deal with it. Well, it manifests in other ways, right?
Yeah.
So until you deal with it, it's going to show up in so many different aspects in our life. But I could never imagine dealing with the trauma that women go through and doing the deep shadow work that has to be done and doing it by yourself. I could never imagine that without a healer or a helper or a guru or a teacher.
And that's one of the things that, so anybody who follows my page, that's one of the things that I've shared as something that has come up for me is that over the last year is I've been dealing with a back injury from something that happened. It was like, it's kind of funny when you actually hear the story, but it wasn't funny. And it was very painful, and it caused me a lot of physical difficulties and physical challenges. And so it was like, okay, this come up for me because I needed to slow down. And that's what I thought that the message was, because the last couple of years before that, something would happen that would slow me down. And I had other injuries that I had to heal from. And then one of the things that happened is that it's like, no, that's not what it is. I've actually had to ask for help. So one of the things that has my aha moments that come up as I was reflecting is that my ahas are that I needed to ask for help. I'm very independent, I'm very strong, and I don't need help, and I can do all these things by myself. We come from a family of 4 girls, and my dad taught us all the things that we need to do. I can rewire, and I can and have rewired my entire house. When we've done renovations, like I don't need anybody. And so I can do all these things on my own. And these injuries that have come up over the last couple of years that have slowed me down, I thought it was just me needing to slow down. But this last year I have slowed down. There's been a lot of things that I've done. And so like I knew that it wasn't about slowing down. But one of the things that I realized is that I needed to ask for help. I needed to rearrange my home so that I can reach things from the top shelf. And if I couldn't reach it, then because I had injured my back bad enough that I couldn't even reach up to grab a glass out of the cupboard. So I had to rearrange things, or I had to ask my boys or my husband to be able to help me grab things and move things and do things, which is not something that I like to do. I like to be able to just rearrange the room myself. I like to be able to just go ahead and do whatever it is that needs to be done and not have to wait for someone else to help. And I've had to stop and say, no, I can't do that until so-and-so comes to help me. And so through our sister circles, one of the things that I've had to do, and Suzie can attest to, is that I've actually had to say, hey, I need help. So over the last 18 years, I've been helping women deal with all the different traumas that have gone on in their life. And I've dealt with my own traumas and I've dealt with different things, but I've never actually reached out and said, hey, I need help. And during the last 4 months, more specifically, I've actually had to say, hey, I need help. And so these are some of the things that I think that kind of resonate with one of the things that you're saying.
Yeah. It's empowering too, and it's very humbling when you have to sit back and you have to reevaluate your limits, and you have to say, I can't do everything anymore. And that's what I call you're setting healthy boundaries for yourself. And a lot of women have problems with setting healthy boundaries because we are taught that women are supposed to be everything and not complain about it. Yeah. They're supposed to take care of the children, the house, the husband, the PTA, the drop off, the dinners, the casseroles, clean the house. And they're supposed to do all of this without even asking for help, because it's in our society thinks that if you ask for help, it's a sign of weakness. And I don't even know where that even started from. Yeah. So it's a very important life lesson to know that, hey, I need to set boundaries. I can't do everything anymore. You guys need to help me. And it's very empowering to say, I'm going to set healthy boundaries and I'm not tolerating this anymore. I can't do all of this anymore. So it's self-preservation.
Yeah, so it's fantastic. And so I just want to acknowledge a couple more people that have popped on. So hi, Lynn, and hi, Sarah.
Hello, everyone.
And Sue has just said hello, and Annette has said hello. So I just wanted to acknowledge the people who have hopped on. And if you guys have any questions for Suzie, please put them in the comments, and I will share them with Suzie. And but again, if we miss them, then one of us will definitely come back and comment on them. So that is so I'm so blessed to see that we have some beautiful women that are part of my circle or Suzie's circle or both of our circles that are actually joining. So so really happy to see everybody on. So one of the things that I like to do when I can find enough spare time is reading. So is there anything that you like to read, Suzie?
I just finished 2 books that I actually love, but I recommend don't listen to any of these books when you're at a muggle job. Because it will make you want to turn in your resignation right there and just say, screw it, I'm done with you. I am going to manifest my own money, manifest my own life. But those 2 books that I really recommend, one is called Witch, and the other one is Rise, Sister, Rise. And it's Rebecca Campbell, I believe, and this is her oracle deck.
Oh, nice.
Oracle deck, yes. And this is my new one. But both of those are really powerful when it comes to women and living a magical witchy lifestyle. And even though it's geared more toward pagan, earth-based, witchy kind of thing, it's really our subject. It's really not. It has a lot of undertones of that, but the undertones for me is like women empowerment. So those are just really good reading. 2 books I highly recommend. I love those 2 books.
Okay. I'm going to have to look into those.
Yes.
So, so one of the things that I do want to ask is, so like I know how it is that you've helped me and some of the things that you've done. I'm part of your group, and so Mary Ellen, sorry, I just interrupted my question. But she said, I keep meaning to listen to Witch, but I haven't made the time. And Amanda said that she just got home from errands. Sorry, Suzie, I cut you off.
That's fine. Yes, I will post the titles in, I don't know if I can do it in here, but yes, I will post the titles and I will post the authors.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, but I didn't have time either. I was like, I don't have time to read because I'm reading 5 different things. I'm always learning. I don't have a lot of time for recreational reading. But the way I get around that is audiobooks.
Oh, okay.
The way I get around it.
Yeah, that would be great for when I'm going for my walks. So yeah. I know that was how I actually did one of my trainings, is that I would actually put on whatever lesson that I was on, which was usually an hour, and I would actually do my walk during the lesson and then come back and do the practical part of it. So so that's how I did my soul realignment course. So that was I'd go for my walk and I'd come back and then I'd practice whatever it is that that she was teaching. So you're welcome, Shauna. And so so as I was saying just before, is that, so I was asking about, like, I know that because I'm part of your group, and we've actually been in a couple of collective groups together, and so like I know how you've actually been able to help me and teach me some of the things that I've actually been able to learn from you. So how do you teach? So like, do you have people come to you? Like, how does all that work?
I have a program now that is called Basic Chick to Badass Witch 8-week boot camp. And that is starting soon. So they find me, but I have a really powerful, active Facebook group. And that's where I do a lot of my coaching in. I find a lot of my soul sisters in there. Sacred Space is in there. And we are going to spend 8 weeks together in that boot camp. So we are going to learn all about the moon phases, the history of witchcraft, how to cast a circle, how to protect yourself, the goddesses. We're going to learn so much in that group. This is a basic witchcraft type of boot camp. And at the end of sharing Sacred Space together, you guys will actually be certified into my coven, my personal coven that I was priested in at the end of 8 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So you will become a first degree high priestess at the end of this 8-week program. And that gives you, because really what that does is gives you the foundation to move forward with your own practice, and moves forward, gives you the tools to deepen your practice. So like I said, I love working with newbie witches, and this is a very basic course, but it's in depth. We're going to spend a lot of time together, sacred circle. You have a private Facebook group. It's going to be one weekly Zoom call, all kinds of support in the group. I'm here all the time. So it's going to be really powerful and really developing your sisterhood relationships, long-lasting relationships that you're going to rely on. Remember, we talked about how important it was to have your circle of sisters around you?
Yeah.
When you start bringing stuff up, especially the witch wound. So you're going to get lots of support in this group. So that is what is coming up for me next, and that starts July 12th.
Yay, that's not very long.
I
so
know.
Is there still room for people to sign up?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So I did add the link at the top of the page, but we'll also put it in the comments as well. Okay. But I did put the link at the top of the, or at least I think that it did. But this is the first time I've gone live from doing the webinar into the page. So if not, we will make sure that it's actually in the description box of it.
I put a link in the comment, the bit.ly link too.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I see it. So,
thank you, Annette.
Okay, so you can see comments. Yay. So Annette also says, I spent so many years in Western therapy working through all my past wounds and personal hell, and I feel like finally I have a piece of this, and I just lost it. For this reason, I don't want to do shadow work because I don't want to go through the pain again. So do I have to do this? So that's her question, Susie. Do you have...
No, I recommend not doing shadow work unless you're ready to do shadow work. It will show up, and the goddess will tell you when it's time for you to do shadow work in order for you to move forward. There will be a point in your life where you will hit a brick wall in your spiritual path, in your spiritual learning, because you haven't cleared out, or you haven't closed the wound or healed the wound from your past. But it is so deep sometimes and so heart-wrenching that I recommend you do not do it unless you are ready to open those wounds up and deal with the consequences of that, because it is so powerful and so deep that if you're not mentally there, and you're not mentally ready to deal with it and do the work that it takes to heal that wound, then you're not going to get any benefit out of it. You're just going to get, more hurt coming from that. You're not going to get any healing light from it or any benefit from it. So until you are emotionally ready, mentally ready to deal with everything that comes up, then I recommend you just don't do it.
And that's kind of the same as when I'm working with people that are wanting to work on themselves, is sometimes we're just taking small chunks. We're dealing small areas of what is it that's going on in your life right now that you actually need to be able to work through. So whether it's having difficulty with being able to sleep, having difficulty with being able to function. So like taking those smaller chunks, we don't necessarily need to go into like what caused it, what happened specifically. Sometimes we do. It depends on the client. It depends on their readiness. But the focus is like, how is it showing up in your life right now? And what is it that we can actually do to be able to do that? So those are things that are like super important. And so Shauna must be signed up for your course already, because Shauna says, I can't wait. And hi, Shayla. So Shayla has joined us as well. So I'm super, super excited, and I'm going to have to take a look at the registration and see how that's going. Can you tell me a little bit about registration? Like, obviously there's a cost, but what the cost is and how that works?
We have 2 different levels. Let me pull that up.
Okay.
And the first is the initiate. Okay, so that is where you're going to get a lot of everything, the basic stuff that you're going to get. The spell work, the casting, the goddess, the wheel of the year, which we talked about, and then your dedication ceremony into your first degree, which is huge. This is a huge ceremony. Okay, so this is where we're going to actually close the circle and do your initiate, and then you'll get the certificate. But if I can get this pulled up, I don't know why it's doing. Oh, there, right. That's why. Well, I have 2 different levels. Okay, the initiate is a $497. You can either pay in full, or you can have payment plans. And then I have a dedicate membership, which is $997, which includes the 8-week program, your first degree initiation. You get 2 1-hour coaching calls, which is recorded over Zoom, and that is lifetime access, because sometimes there's so much going on in your life that you don't have time to actually catch everything that we talked about. So whenever stuff comes up in your life, you can always rewatch it and say, oh yeah, I remember that. This is coming up, so now I know what I need to do. And then you actually get 1 30-minute tarot reading card reading from me. So that's really powerful. But if you get the paid in full bonus, which is huge, you get another mini tarot reading, 2 months free membership into the Moon Sister Activation Circle, which is so powerful. We get meditations. You're in that. So, and you get a witchy care package from me. And that is all in the link. Okay. It takes you directly to my webpage. You can pay in full, or we have payment plans. And that starts on July 12th. So that link will give you more information, exactly what's going to consist of the 8 weeks. So you're going to learn. So a lot of people are like, okay, I'm in it for 8 weeks, but what do I get? Right. So when you, after the 8 weeks, you're going to learn how to cast a circle. You're going to learn what the elements are. You're going to learn how to start your practice. The moon phases mean, use the power of the moon, spell casting. How do you protect yourself? And what are the significance of the seasons of the year, or the wheel of the year, and how can I incorporate that into my life and my magical practice? So you're getting a lot. You're getting a lot in this 8 weeks. So.
Well, and I can definitely attest to Suzie's tarot card readings. So my very first tarot card reading from Suzie, the universe has a funny way of doing whatever it is that we need to have happen when it's supposed to happen. So Suzie had said, oh, well, I'm doing I've got some free time today. It was a Friday. And she's like, I've got some free time today if somebody wants a tarot card reading. And I'm like, oh, perfect. Tried to sign up. It just didn't work for signing up. We just a whole bunch of jumbled mess around being able to get the payment going. And then Suzie finally got the payment. And then she's like, okay, well, I'm going to be able to do my readings on whatever day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, really? I really, really wanted that reading. And it was just really super important to me to be able to do that reading. And then just the night before, what it is that I was looking for in terms of answers, Suzie sends me because we're in different time zones. So for her, it wasn't necessarily like early morning, but for me, it was early morning. I had woke up to go to the bathroom, and I've got an email from Suzie with the tarot card reading. And it was phenomenal. It was absolutely, I listened to it and I'm like, oh my God, like this is really going on. And this is what was going on. And this was what was happening. And it was like, okay, I can, because it was actually just before an event, and it was like, okay, I can actually just stop fretting. And I'm already being warned that there's going to be some glitches and there's going to be some things that are not going to happen. And there were some huge glitches and there were some huge things that were going on, but I was prepared and I knew. And so apparently I wasn't supposed to get that reading until the night before. I wasn't supposed to get that reading until that very moment. And those are things that I honestly truly believe. Things happen when they're supposed to, and as much as I want things to happen yesterday, sometimes I need to just remember that that's not the way that it's going to happen, and I just need to be able to accept that. So Annette says, thank you, girls. I have found peace finally, and I don't want to rock that boat. So I get that.
Yes.
And Sue says, will you be doing this at another time?
I will. Here's the thing with this. I will be doing this 8-week boot camp once a year. So it will not be offered again until 2019. And the reason is because it is a lot of work spiritually for you guys. It's a lot of revelation for you guys. And it's an exclusive event, exclusive sisterhood. So I don't want to bust these out every 8 months, every, 2 months. Is like, I don't want it to become what we call like a diploma first degree, or, diploma mill, which they have here. I want this to just be really exclusive for the people who it's called to. So I'm only doing this once a year. So you will not see this come back around until 2019.
Okay. So I'm really hoping to be able to join into this. And so I will certainly be putting some manifesting out so that I can actually join. And if it's not this year, then it will definitely be next year. But my positive thinking is that I am putting it out there that I will be able to join this, this amazing program this term. So I'm really hoping to do that. So Jenny says, thanks ladies, I have to go to work, and so happy working and hope it's a good shift. And Sue says, I like that, so thoughtful of you. So thanks, Sue. So Sue is one of my sisters in one of our groups. So she is in our Inner Goddess circle. So really excited to have her be on live with us today. So I want to, is there anything else that you think that is important to share about this particular workshop? So I think you covered everything.
Yeah, I think I covered everything. I just want to put out there, if anybody has any questions about it or needs clarification about payments or what exactly is going to consist of, because it's a lot of stuff. I'm not going to be able to have time to cover like the PDFs you're going to get, the worksheets you're going to get, stuff I'm going to post in the group, the Zoom calls. So I invite anybody who has any questions to friend request me and send me a message, and we can talk about it. I can clear up a lot of, questions that you have, and we can actually just sit down and talk about it. So if there's any questions that you need answered, or you need help with making a decision or talking through it, just reach out to me. I'm always here.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So that is amazing. So there is, so Sue has piped up with another comment saying that for me, it'll have to be next year. So hope to keep in touch, and definitely this is an amazing. And so I am so thankful that you actually were able to join me today in Monday Whispers, and we're able to share this. So oh, sure. Actually, that would be wonderful. Would you guys like a card? So some hearts and likes if you guys would like a card.
Hey.
So Sue has a smiley face.
I'll keep a spot for you next year, Sue. Next year in Circle, we'll keep a spot for you.
Awesome.
So let's see what we've got.
It wouldn't be having a Facebook Live with you without pulling a card.
I know.
And I almost forgot.
I have to always pull a card at the end, always. All right, let's see what we got.
Sue says awesomeness. So for holding a spot for her for next year.
This is why I love tarot, and this is why I love doing what I do. I cannot make this stuff up. I promise you, the universe shows you signs if you just know how to pay attention to them and you learn from them. I hope this isn't backwards. Let me read
Sisterhood of the Rose. I can't read what it says in the bottom though.
Sisterhood of the Rose, beauty and devotion, priestess, mystic, and teacher.
Oh, yeah. So coming together in circle.
Yes.
So even here in our Facebook Live, so just being able to come together in circle and being able to support each other in this discussion. And those of you who are actually able to hop on to be able to just support us in this very first Monday Whispers interview. And so like super, super excited. And thank you so much, Suzie, for being our very first. And I want to say our very first test pilot, but really, and I want to actually take this 1 second to be able to thank Rachel Arazo, who there's been just so many different glitchy internet things that have been going on in my life that it was like, oh, before we hop on, and Suzie wasn't quite done her muggle job yet. So I messaged Rachel and said, hey, can you do me a favor and help me with some tech support? I need a tester. So I want to actually be able to take a second to thank Rachel for being able to hop on with me. And I got to see her lovely daughter, Lily, who I've heard so much about her over the last 4 months, but haven't been able to see her. So it was actually adorable. She is the most adorable thing ever. So I wanted to take a second to thank Rachel for that as well. So
Rachel's great. She's my techie person. She knows all that stuff.
I'm like, hey, Rach, this is the first time I'm doing it with webinar with 2 people. Like I've gone on Zoom live with myself, but like to have 2 people on, is this going to work? Is it not going to work? And so that's and one of the things is that when I'm actually talking to you is that I'm trying to remember to look at the camera as opposed to looking, but I keep looking over. So anybody who's watching me can see that I'm actually watching Suzie as she's talking. And so someday I'll actually get better at the whole camera thing. But I've been taught that you're supposed to look at the person that's talking. So I look at me or I look at Suzie. And so I have to remember to look at you, the audience. So, and that is thanks to our lovely Flora, who's taught us some different techie things of how to be able to do these things. So thankful for Suzie, for Flora as well. Yes. So on that note, I want to say thank you and namaste, my dear.
Namaste, my sister. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye for now, everyone.
Bye, everyone.